Hi, Viorel. Good to meet you. What is your name?
Viorel Munteanu,
Can you
Viorel, and Muntean is mountain, from the mountain.
What year were you born? Where do you live now? And how long have you lived here?
Since forever, 1963, born in Brasov, and never left Brasov to live any other place. I love this city. It's my hometown city.
Tell me about your experience with the Communist Party and growing up and working under the communist regime.
Well, briefly, in just very large lines, I'm born in 1963. Ceausescu came in power in 1965. I was able to graduate the high school, becoming electrician for high power voltage. That was in 1982, 40 years ago. And I was able also to be accepted to work as electrician into the bearings factory of that time, 1982 to 85, I think. Well, as a personal story from the communist time, looks funny, but will just sound funny. Otherwise, it's pretty tragic. Being graduating the high school with high school in the dominium of electricity, I've got my right, more or less, to be promoted in every year for a different stage of salary into the factory. It was 7 maximum stages. Second one was easy, apply, promote. Third one easy, apply, promote. Fourth one easy. For the 5th one, I was more or less asked, or was suggested to me, when do you decide to become member of the Communist Party? Because this level of the salary was already associated with the, more or less, the privileged people. Being a Communist Party member, you could make that exam, otherwise no. So started a kind of game between me and the management of the factory. I was young, I was speaking English, I was an example for the generation I represent, so they really chased me to become member of the Communist Party. To a professional meeting, to a union, the president of the union asked me, facing with everybody, when I'm going to decide, comrade, not Mr. Comrade that time, Viorel Munteanu, to become member of the Communist Party. I said, okay, Comrade Simon, you are member of the Communist Party, but first of all I need to mention this is a professional union. What's got the politics to do with this? It's confusing for me. You may imagine immediately my colleagues, which was sleeping, was paying attention. I asked Simon if he's a member of the Communist Party. He said yes. If he's proud about his red book close to his heart, he said yes. And I challenged him with a technical situation. 2 wires for him, 2 wires for me, plug them in a socket. He couldn't understand the message and said, okay, and what do you mean? I said, very simple, do the electricity make the difference between a member of the Communist Party and a non-member of a Communist Party? We die the same. Next morning I was invited at the security officer of the factory. Smiling, that guy, he was able to repeat all my speech almost word by word. Oh, Comrade Vio, nice story. Red book close to his heart, 2 wires and the socket, and who's going to die first? Pretty clever, but you know, this country needs people like you on the coal mine valley, on the People's Palace, on the Canal, Danube to the Black Sea. Would you want to have a piece of paper and write it down where you would like to have a temporary job for the next time? I get scared like hell. But he said, if you are able in 2 weeks to find another job in another part, probably I will pretend myself I never meet you in my life. You want, you don't want, that guy rescue my life. Because You may imagine in that time how could I reach the prison or persecuted or wherever, convicted for political stupid things. Or I meet the guy later on after the revolution, give him a bottle of whiskey just for an answer. How many people from that meeting, from the audience, was to him after the meeting? He said 8. 8 from 48, which was for me my colleagues, my partners, my professional partners, and even my friends. How you call them in English? Snitchers. Yes, snitchers. That was the system that time. One moment of sincerity, 3 weeks at security.
Why do you think it's so important to tell the story now, or to make sure the story doesn't get forgotten?
For sure that's why. For sure that's why somebody's supposed to remember, even if looks funny right now, was terrible that time. And honestly, about this story, I will consider myself right now, with my mature mind, I was simply idiot to open my mouth in an audience with things like this. Was not something to common. Yes, we don't need to forget. We need to remember.
Thank you, Viorel.
You're welcome.